Who do you want me to fight? Who do the press want me to fight?
Who do you think you should fight?
The best man.
Who is the best man?
Who do you think? I don't know.
I'm gonna leave it to you.
Find him.
Tahun 1963 menjadi perjalanan karir tinju bagi Muhammad Ali untuk merengkuh gelar juara dunia kelas berat. Dan sebelumnya Ali harus menghadapi petinju asal Inggris Henry Cooper. Ali memprediksi pertandingan ini hanya pada ronde kelima Cooper akan bertahan.
Round 5. This will be no contest. This will be a total annihilation.
Any special training?
No special training. Just be at the fight. I'm ready to back up everything I'm saying, and I'm through talking.
The English public like a gentleman, gentleman Henry Cooper, who got knighted by the Queen. So I know all these things. So lo and behold, yap, going to knock him out in 4, the public sort of backed off on the kid. But he didn't mean no harm. He just was trying to build something. Then he got on the scale. He went 5. He did it, but it was all in fun.
I was confident that I could catch him with a good punch. See, my eye was so badly cut. My eye had been bleeding for a couple of rounds then because he caught me with the heel of the glove, chopped down on the brow and cut it. And I knew it was bad because it's funny, in most fights, the only way you can tell a cut is bad is by if you feel the warm blood dripping on your chest. And I could feel this water, and I'm thinking, this is now he's gonna stop this. And Jim Wicks, when I came back in the third round, he said, look, we may have to. I said, don't stop it. I said, I can catch him. I said, I can catch him. I said, just do it up as best you can and let me get out and have one round. And then the fourth round, I called him, and I thought, oh, thank God for that. But then the blooming bell went.
A lot of people said that I cut the glove. I actually didn't cut the glove. The glove was split in the very first round. It was split in the seam of the glove. So Muhammad naturally had his way with Cooper, and I kept quiet about it. What happened when Cooper hit him that left hook was a beauty. What happened was I ran across, brought him back to the seat, sat him down, chewed him up, put my finger in the leather and lifted it. Walked over to the referee and I said, this glove is split, you'll have to get a new glove. I didn't do nothing but help a situation. See, that's what you're there for. You try to do the best you can to help your fighter.
But the eye was so badly cut, and he came out and he hit me on it about 2 or 3 times, and it started pumping blood. Then the referee had to stop it. Ali did say, I'll stop him in 5, all right, and he did.
Di tahun 1964 menjadi tahun yang menjadi catatan besar bagi seorang Muhammad Ali. Di tahun ini Ali mencatatkan kemenangan sebanyak 19 kali dan menantang juara dunia Sonny Liston. Pertandingan dramatis yang berlangsung pada 25 Februari 1964 di Florida, Amerika Serikat, ketika Ali menghadapi Sonny Liston untuk perebutan gelar juara dunia kelas berat. Ali meraih kemenangan TKO di ronde ke-7 dari 15 ronde yang direncanakan. Liston mengalami cedera pada leher yang membuatnya mengundurkan diri dari pertandingan. Dan Ali akhirnya meraih gelar juara dunia pertama di usia yang baru beranjak 22 tahun.
We met to sign for the fight at a press conference with the boxing commissioners and everybody there. The promoter said to me, Ernie, you have to train in Chicago at least 2 weeks ahead of the fight in order to sell the fight. Is that all right with you? I said, it's all right with me if it's all right with Clay. He said, Muhammad. I said, well, Muhammad. So why do you call me Clay? And why do you call me Clay and everybody else call me Muhammad? I said, well, man, look, you told me your name was Muhammad when I met you. I said, I just got used to Clay. I ain't told you nothing. You just an old Uncle Tom. You pushed me. And then we started wrestling. What he did in the fight, we got caught in a headlock. He took his thumb, did like this, and he poked it in my eye. And the muscle that turned the eye got caught in that bone. And it would stay straight, it wouldn't turn. So, because it wouldn't turn, I would see one guy over there and one guy over here whenever he moved around.
He was punctuating each punch with, what's my name? What's my name? Because they'd called him Clay, not Ali. It was a cruel alley. And we tend to sweep that under the rug. But there was a cruel alley in there. And that was a little disturbing because we didn't want to see this. It's supposed to be a sweet science. It's a civilized sport. Barbaric though it is, it's legalized assault. There's got to be some niceties to it. This wasn't nice.
I have nothing against him personally. He's a good guy. The people that he had around him, these dirty tricks people, that is what disturbs some of the fighters that he fought.
25 Mei 1965, Muhammad Ali mengadakan pertandingan ulang menghadapi Sonny Liston yang penuh kontroversi. Pukulan Ali yang cepat menimbulkan spekulasi di kalangan tinju yang menyebut pukulan Ali sebagai phantom punch. Pukulan itu begitu cepat hingga tidak tampak mengenai Liston yang roboh. Isu yang berkembang saat itu termasuk suap dan ancaman orang-orang berpengaruh terhadap Liston dan keluarganya. Namun Liston membantah semua itu dengan menyatakan pukulan Ali menghantamnya dengan keras.
And I want to make one prediction. I'm not calling around. I predict that when I meet Joe Frazier, this will be like a good amateur fighting a real professional. This will be like a kid out of the Olympics meeting the fastest heavyweight champion that ever lived. This will be no contest. I just look
You're not fighting Glory, you're not fighting Oscar Bonavera, you're not fighting Sonny Liston, you fighting Joe Frazier.
8 Maret 1971, Ali kembali ke atas ring menantang juara dunia Joe Frazier di New York, Amerika Serikat. Namun Ali kalah di ronde ke-15.
If Joe Frazier whoops me, I'm getting on my hands and my knees, crawl across the ring, look up to you, say you're the champion.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know, you might not be able to crawl. If he whipped me, I'll crawl across the ring to him. But in this situation, he gonna be able to crawl. I gotta walk over him.
I feel like Muhammad was a little nervous on the basis that we're I'm on something like that. He was just psyching himself up. That, you know, hey, I gotta get ready. I'm the greatest, I'm gonna whip you. You know, he's the guy, gotta get himself ready. I mean, I didn't do that. I was ready. I mean, I was ready from day one when he started talking about fighting each other. So therefore, he had to hype him on himself.
You had two undefeated heavyweight champions. You'll never have that again, fighting in the then mecca of boxing, Madison Square Garden, in the biggest city in the world of communications. Their pictures had been on the front of Life magazine. Their pictures had been on the front of every magazine. They had made commercials. They were the first two athletes to ever be guaranteed over $1 million, 2.5 apiece, 2.5 rounds. Frazier couldn't get near Ali. Just pop, 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 pop. Then he kept closing and closing and closing the area between them ever closer. And his pre-fight prediction that I'm a small piece of leather but well put together was holding true.
I don't know how Muhammad survived the 11th round. It was like he was on a ballet dancer. He got nailed and he was reaching out and trying to grab on Joe. I don't know how he survived the 11th round.
And I asked my trainer when I got back to the corner, what's holding him up, Yank? I said, Yank, what's holding this man up? I said, you just go back where you left off from. So he fall after a while. And he did.
Naturally, I'm biased. I don't think Muhammad lost that fight. But then we wouldn't have the other two fights. See, that knockdown in that last round, Muhammad had two bad rounds, 11th round and the 15th round.
When you talk about the butterfly, you gotta think about the man who faced the butterfly, who took him down. Where that he was the guy saying that, Joe Frazier, if you knock me down, I'll crawl across the ring on my knees and say, you are the greatest. He was trying to get to the hospital after the fight.
After the fight, for the next 2 days, Ali was taken to a hospital. Frazier was taken to a hospital. Rumors abounded that Frazier was dead, but the aftermath had, just like the stone that hit water, it kept growing and growing. And with it, too, the legend of Muhammad Ali, who had given everything he had and more in a losing cause. and didn't complain and didn't alibi and didn't make up any excuses. The winner in that fight became the loser. The loser in that fight became the winner.
Ali kemudian kembali menantang Joe Frazier sebelum menantang George Foreman di bulan Januari 1974 di Madison Square Garden, New York. Saat itu, gelar juara dunia dipegang George Foreman setelah mengalahkan Joe Frazier. Laga ini dimenangkan Ali dengan angka mutlak.
The winner by unanimous decision is Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali.
I told you, all of my critics, I told you all that I was the greatest of all time. Sunday listeners, I told you today, I'm still the greatest of all time.
At the end of beating George Foreman, the greatest triumph of his career, the most spectacular show is this rope-a-dope technique, which was an innovation that the world had never seen before. He should have ended it right there. Metaphorically, I felt that he should have been frozen in ice and taken over to nearby Mount Kilimanjaro and preserved there like Hemingway's leopard for all time.
Pada 30 Oktober 1974, Ali menjalani laga bertajuk Rumble in the Jungle. Muhammad Ali kembali merebut gelar juara kelas berat WBC dan WBA setelah menumbangkan George Foreman di Kinshasa, Zaire, Kongo, Afrika. Pertarungan ini diwarnai trik dan strategi yang solid. Di awal ronde, Ali mendapatkan tekanan dengan pukulan-pukulan Foreman. Dan setelah Foreman kelelahan, Ali balik menyerang habis-habisan dan akhirnya memukul KO Foreman di ronde ke-8. Laga selanjutnya bertajuk Thrilla in Manila, terjadi pada 1 Oktober 1975. Kala itu Presiden Ferdinand Marcos memboyong laga Ali versus Frazier ke kota Manila, Filipina. Ali menang TKO di ronde ke-14 dalam pertarungan seru dan menegangkan. Bahkan, laga ini disebut-sebut sebagai salah satu pertandingan tinju terbaik abad ini. Frazier yang kelelahan akhirnya menyerah dan tidak ingin melanjutkan pertandingan pada istirahat jelang ronde ke-15. Ali sempat kehilangan gelarnya di tahun 1978 ketika kalah dari Leon Spinks di laga yang digelar di Las Vegas, Nevada. Namun, di tahun yang sama, tepatnya 15 September 1978, Ali kembali bertanding dan mengalahkan Leon Spinks dengan kemenangan angka di laga selama 15 ronde. Laga yang berlangsung di New Orleans, Amerika Serikat, Ali mengukuhkan diri sebagai petinju pertama yang merebut gelar juara kelas berat sebanyak 3 kali. Pada 6 September 1979, Ali menyatakan mundur dari dunia tinju dan gelar dinyatakan kosong. Namun, pada tanggal 2 Oktober 1980, Ali kembali ke ring tinju untuk melawan bekas kawan latih tandingnya Larry Holmes. Pertandingan yang digelar di Caesars Palace di Las Vegas, Larry kala itu bertindak sebagai juara dunia tinju kelas berat. Laga ini berjalan berat sebelah. Ali tak mampu menandingi Holmes yang tampil dominan di setiap ronde. Jelang ronde ke-10, pelatih Ali kala itu Angelo Dundee menghentikan pertarungan dan Holmes dinyatakan menang TKO. Pada 11 Desember 1981, Ali yang sudah dalam kondisi uzur mencoba kembali ke dunia tinju melawan Trevor Berbick di Bahama. Laga ini diberi tajuk Drama in Bahama. Dalam kondisi renta, Ali tampil lebih baik daripada ketika menghadapi Holmes meski akhirnya kalah angka di 10 ronde.
Unanimous decision for Trevor Berbick.
Setelah pertandingan ini, Ali benar-benar pensiun dari dunia tinju.